Hi everyone, my name is Avalon Mott and I am the curator of Presence in a Past or an Undetermined Future on view here at On-Site Gallery. As a curator, I started my career in Vancouver and then moved to Toronto in 2021 to study at OCAD University in the Criticism and Curatorial Practice master's program. My practice is very centered around the idea of exhibitionary affect, which I've come to understand as foregrounding the viewer's feeling states in the gallery space, rather than providing didactic understanding to the works on display. Presence in a Past or an Undetermined Future is a two-person exhibition featuring Nabil Azab and Shannon Garden-Smith. And for this show, something that I was really thinking about is the idea of being able to create a moment of presence within the gallery space, a grounding moment where viewers are able to think about these often competing feelings of a past which is difficult to kind of grapple with, and simultaneously dream of a future that is filled with hope and inspiration. And I think that right now, with the state of our world and many things that are going on, it's really important that we carve out these moments where we're really able to sit in our presence. And I hope that the viewers are able to do this in the show. So I was aware of Shannon and Nabil's practices as I was proposing this exhibition, both artists who I feel I've been wanting to work with and have been following for a while, and something that's apparent in both of their practices for me and really a driving force that connects into my curatorial practice is this idea of affect. And so what that means for me in their works is that there's space. There's space for the viewer to be able to sink into their works and be held and engage in this deep looking, this active deep looking. And I think in terms of the works being able to speak to a past and a present and a future and time, there's really significant elements in both of their practices. Nabil is working with negatives and archival imagery quite often that he finds or is part of his family's history, and then bringing it into a digital space and making his own marks on this imagery. And for me, that's a really beautiful way to be able to acknowledge a past and sit with a presence and then bring this work forward into a future. And Shannon's work equally has this life force embedded into it. She's using gelatin as a medium for the blinds too that she's displaying. And within this materiality, she's able to infuse her print and her way of working and her touch into the work. It's also a non-static material, and so it can hold the exhibition spaces that it's displayed within and kind of bring that history forward with it. I think that within both of these works, there is this idea of abstraction as a very broad term. And so the exchanges that kind of present between the two pieces are these resting points for the viewer's eyes or their being. There's curiosities that are kind of sprinkled throughout the works that I feel intuitively allow the viewer to move around the exhibition. In Shannon's work specifically, she's in inlaid jewelry pieces that she's been gifted into the blinds. And so as the viewer is able to engage deeper into the act of looking into the blinds, they're able to reveal these pieces of jewelry. And then in Nabil's work, we have these kind of scratches, right? And these like marks that have been made in the image. And I think that those are beautiful traces that the eyes are kind of able to sit within. And so when both of these pieces come together, there's this act of holding, and then there's this act of kind of pushing that happens between the works. Something that is really important within my understanding of exhibitionary affect is this idea of intuitive movement within the exhibition space. And so because there is no clear entry point, it really presents the viewer from the time that they come into the gallery with a decision in which way they're going to view the exhibition. And so within that, kind of adding these Shannon's work that hang as like sculptural objects, there's something for the viewer to be able to move around, but not necessarily a direction in which they should move. And I think that that was really important in the layout of this exhibition. I think something that was really beautiful to discover as this exhibition came to be was how excited Nabil and Shannon were also able to show alongside one another. And you can see this in kind of the synergy between Nabil's wall vinyl photograph, January 1st, 2021, and how when you first enter into the gallery space, how Shannon's blinds perfectly kind of sit within the negative space of that image. That was a really beautiful happenstance that came to be. I think that this exhibition for me is like a really beautiful culmination of the research that I've done thus far on exhibitionary affect, especially being able to place it in a gallery such as On-Site, which sometimes lends itself to a more institutional or museum way of viewing. And I'm really excited to kind of watch this exhibition shift over the time that it's on display and have viewers come back multiple times and be able to experience it in different settings. Yeah. Yeah, so what I'm looking forward to upcoming, I'm going to be doing a few things with Contact Photography Festival this year. And so this exhibition will be featured as core programming alongside a panel discussion between myself, Shannon, and Nabil. And then I'm also working on an exhibition at the Plumb, which will be a group show for Contact, which will open mid-April.